In a talk dripping with condescension, patronizing advice, and the kind of benevolent sexism that belongs in a black and white sitcom, not in the 21st century, we have a case study in how Jehovah's Witnesses leadership continues to spin outdated patriarchal control as biblical truth. It's the same tired script. Men lead, women support, God approves. But as we peel back the layers of this 2025 Pure Worship Convention talk, what emerges is not divine wisdom, but a stunning example of how tone deaf and out of touch the organization's leaders have become, and how desperately they cling to the 1950s fantasy of male headship while dressing it up with the occasional nod toward helping with the dishes. This talk is drenched in condescension.
When we took that vow, we told our dear wives, their parents, and Jehovah God most of all, that we're going to respect and dignify them. Brothers, let's make sure that we live up to that. Respect them and dignify them. Is there any harm in washing the dishes? No. How about cooking sometime? Give them a break. You see, dear brothers and sisters, the point of it is copy the example of Jesus. What would Jesus want us to do to take care of them? And I was thinking of this part, and to mention relevant to this point of cooking. I like cooking. And when you think about preparing a meal for your family, how do you think your wife will feel? Maybe we didn't do too good the first time, but we will do better. How about washing the dishes after? How about cleaning the house, helping out, seeing what she has to go through?
Now, on the surface, it sounds noble. Respect your wives, honor your marriage vows, be kind. Who could argue with that? But notice the framing. Women are passive recipients of male benevolence. Men grant them respect. Men decide to dignify them. Men choose to give them a break by washing the dishes or cooking a meal, as though basic household chores are heroic acts of self-sacrifice when performed by the male of the species. This is not equality. This is patriarchal charity. When a man helps with the dishes, he is lauded as Christ-like. When a woman does them every day without applause, it is simply her lot in life. The entire tone screams, men, lower yourselves occasionally to domestic labor so your wives feel appreciated. Then return to your rightful place as head of the house. It's not partnership. It's paternalism wrapped in a Bible verse. The speaker insists men should put away their old personality, citing the Apostle Paul, and stop acting like they are number one in the house or some macho figure. Sounds progressive, right? Wrong. Because even as he rejects machismo, he reinforces male headship as divine law. The problem isn't that men rule over women. It's that some men do it with too much swagger. Tone it down, brothers, but never surrender your authority. This is the same tired watchtower playbook. Pretend to soften the edges while leaving the core untouched. And for decades, Jehovah's Witness literature has described men as the head of the woman on the basis that women were not created equal to men in power or glory. Here's an example. Man and woman were not created equal in power and glory. The man came first and was given special prerogatives. As Jehovah is the head over his wifey organization, and as Christ is the head over his espoused church, so the man is the head over the woman. It is the woman that is commanded to show respect and recognition of the man's position of headship. And women who rebel at it are not so much rebelling against men as they are against God. That's from a 1952 Watchtower. Now, in 2025, they are still preaching the same hierarchy, just with a better PR. The message remains clear. Men lead, women follow. Men teach, women listen. Men have the final say. Women submit gracefully. The only update? Men should occasionally cook dinner to show they're not macho. Congratulations, brothers. You too can wield absolute spiritual authority while stirring spaghetti sauce once a month. At one point, the speaker marvels at the idea of women learning to handle machinery, cut grass, or repair equipment.
Because not everyone treats women the way they're supposed to be treated. And Jehovah is the one that sets the example, and his son follows that. You see, in this world that we're living in, according to what the Apostle Paul said in Ephesians chapter 4, he made this statement. He says, all of us should put away the old personality. The old personality means that you are number one in the house. You're some macho figure. We're not. You're not. As far as Jehovah is concerned, it says those sisters are the ones that Jehovah is asking us to take care of. Won't you please do that? And here's something else. When you think of those dear girls that are in our congregation, all of those sisters, can we train them to do different things? How about helping in the maintenance? And how about teaching them some machinery to repair certain things? I want you to consider this. At Ramapo, at this time, do you know all of those big machinery? 1/3 of the operators are sisters. Can they learn to do things like that? How about cutting grass at the Kingdom Hall? You, dear sisters, you can do that. Who cuts the grass at Warwick, where we're at? At Wallkill, at Pattison, at Fishkill. They're sisters that do that. And they can do that too. Please remember that.
The audience is expected to gasp in wonder. Woman operating machinery, cutting grass? This is what passes for progress in Watchtower World, allowing women to mow the lawn at the Kingdom Hall while men remain elders, circuit overseers, branch coordinators, and governing body members. Women can push the lawnmower but not lead a prayer. They can repair a sink but not teach from the platform. They can cook in the Bethel kitchen but never have a voice in doctrine, policy, or decision making. This is equality in name only. Token gestures designed to look modern while maintaining rigid gender hierarchy everywhere that actually matters. The speaker repeats the phrase, how about, like a man discovering housework for the first time? How about washing the dishes? How about cooking sometimes? How about cleaning the house? Each suggestion lands like a revolutionary idea, as though men everywhere are furiously scribbling notes. Wash dishes? Who knew that was possible? The sheer cluelessness is staggering. In the real world, not tainted by patriarchal Christian nationalist dogma, couples share chores because they are both adults living in the same home, not because a religious leader reluctantly suggested it at a convention. But in Jehovah's Witness culture, men helping out is portrayed as noble self-sacrifice, a sign of spiritual maturity. It never occurs to the speaker that equality actually means shared responsibility, not men doing favors for their wives like medieval lords tossing scraps to the peasants. This entire talk could have been given in 1952 without changing a word. It assumes men work, women keep house. Men lead, women support. Men are rational. Women are emotional. Men make decisions. Women accept them. Even the so-called progressive elements, letting women cut grass or handle machinery, sound like a 1950s ad for labor-saving appliances. Look, Mildred, you too can push the new Power Mower 3000 while your husband relaxes after his long day at the office. Meanwhile, outside the Watchtower bubble, women run companies, lead governments, become electricians, plumbers, and win Nobel Prizes. But inside, they are praised for learning how to use a lawnmower. The disconnect is astounding, but this rhetoric serves a deeper purpose: control. By framing men as spiritual heads and women as submissive helpers, the organization maintains a power structure that keeps half its members silent and obedient. Male elders decide judicial matters, disfellowshipping, reinstatements, and congregation policy. Male circuit overseers oversee entire regions. Male governing body members dictate doctrine for 8 million people. And women, they get privileges like cleaning bathrooms at assemblies or pushing the literature cart downtown. Following the implementation of web conference software for streaming meetings in 2020, attendance at Kingdom Halls dropped substantially, resulting in a shortage of baptized males to execute these jobs. Rather than assigning them to women, the July 2024 statement or announcement suggested that unbaptized males be utilized instead. It says this: Congregation task for exemplary unbaptized male publishers. The governing body is pleased to inform you that exemplary unbaptized male publishers may also be used to care for some congregation tasks that are appropriate for their age and circumstances. For example, an exemplary male publisher in his early teens or younger may be used to handle microphones and operate the sound and video equipment if permission has been granted by his parent or guardian. If sisters are currently being used to care for some of these practical tasks, please assign exemplary brothers, baptized or unbaptized, to care for the work. If there are not enough brothers, please contact the circuit overseer for direction before using sisters. This is from the July 2024 announcements. These menial congregation tasks have nothing to do with teaching, yet the Watchtower leadership would rather men and boys handle them than having women involved. Even something as technical as controlling the sound system is expected to be assigned to teenage boys instead of women, even if they are more capable and responsible. Watchtower leaders have disturbingly expressed that women are less capable than men, and who can forget Samuel Hurd, who went on to become a member of the governing body, justifying female subjection on the basis that their smaller brain size makes them less intelligent. This is not spirituality. This is patriarchy baptized in the name of phrenology. And what makes this talk truly embarrassing is how utterly out of touch it is with modern life. Most couples today share chores because it's practical, not because a religious leader suggested it. Many women earn more than their husbands. Some husbands stay home with children while wives work full time. In healthy relationships, decisions are made jointly, not handed down like royal decrees from husband to wife. Yet, Jehovah's Witness leaders remain frozen in time, preaching a version of marriage that belongs in a black and white sitcom. The world has moved on. They have not. Let's be clear. Telling men to help their wives while insisting on male leadership is not progress. It is misogyny wearing a friendly smile. It reduces women to dependents rather than equals. It portrays basic decency as extraordinary virtue when men perform it. It keeps all real power, spiritual, organizational, doctrinal, firmly in male hands. A husband washing dishes does not erase the fact that his wife can never be an elder, a circuit overseer, a branch committee member, or a governing body member. She can cut the grass at Warwick, she just can't have a voice. This convention talk was meant to sound loving, progressive, even humbled, but scratch the surface and it reveals an organization still mired in patriarchal control, still terrified of female leadership, still clinging to gender roles that died in the rest of the world decades ago. Jehovah's Witness leaders can tell men to cook dinner and wash dishes until Armageddon arrives. It won't change the fact that their entire structure silences women, excludes them from power, and treats them as eternal helpers rather than full equals. Until that changes, every kind word about dignifying sisters rings hollow, because equality is not washing the dishes once in a while. Equality is sharing power, voice, and leadership. And on that front, the Watchtower is still stuck in the Dark Ages, polishing its patriarchal throne while the rest of the world moves on.